Hi guys! Today we are discussing braking from higher speeds. It was the second most requested topic from you, right after riding in the rain. Since I'm still waiting for the rain to happen, let's talk about braking from higher speeds in the meantime. Now, I already have several videos about proper braking technique on a motorcycle. However, in those videos I mostly showed braking from lower and moderate speeds, like 30, 40, 50, 60 km per hour, or up to 35 miles per hour. This was intentional for two main reasons. First, everything you learn from braking from those moderate speeds directly translates to higher speeds. There are some details which we will discuss today, but generally everything stays the same. Second, the most obvious reason why I focused on lower speeds for the braking exercise is that it's very hard to find a big enough space to practice really high-speed braking. With all that being said, I want to outline 4 major points about high-speed braking. If we want to be able to brake like this guy, we have to understand these 4 things very well. The first point that I want to reiterate is that the basics of high-speed braking are generally the same as we already discussed in videos about emergency braking and in my advanced riding video course with dedicated exercises. For good, fast and effective braking, we must look far ahead to feel the balance of the bike better, judge our speed correctly and have good situational awareness. We must operate the front brake correctly, squeezing it in a controlled and progressive manner, without grabbing it. Also, we must have our weight away from the handlebars and keep our hands and arms loose and relaxed as much as possible to let the front wheel stabilize the bike and to feel if the front wheel starts skidding. To make this possible, we squeeze the tongue with our knees and engage the core muscles. These are the main things which we must do. Additionally, there are other significant but secondary things, like how to use the rear brake properly and how to downshift in time. All of this we learn by repeating the braking exercise many times, developing good reflexes and muscle memory. This must be done in order to be able to brake from higher speeds as well. So in case you haven't seen my videos about braking already, I encourage you to watch them. Also, consider getting my video course named Training Routine. Among other things, it goes over braking technique in great detail along with dedicated exercises. The second point we need to understand about high-speed braking is how speed affects our braking distance. While it's obvious that we need more distance to brake from a higher speed, the increase in distance is not linear. For instance, if we first brake from 40 km per hour, then double the speed and brake from 80 km per hour, our braking distance will not double, it will increase almost fourfold. As a general rule of thumb, our braking distance roughly doubles when we increase our speed by 20 km per hour or 13 miles per hour. Braking from 100 km per hour will be approximately 2 times longer than from 80, and braking from 120 will be nearly 2 times longer than from 100, and so on. This is important to consider when riding faster than traffic. Going 20 km per hour or 13 miles per hour faster than everyone else might not seem significant, but in this scenario, our braking distance will be twice as long as those around us. Such a big difference is due to our reaction time. Adding to the braking distance itself, the extra distance due to our reaction time also increases. Assuming our reaction speed is 1 second, each 20 km per hour or 13 miles per hour increase in speed will additionally extend our stopping distance by 5.5 meters or 18 feet on top of our braking distance. This emphasizes the need for caution and consciousness when it comes to speeding. even seemingly small increments of 20 km per hour significantly increase our stopping distance. The next crucial aspect of high-speed braking is that the role of the front brake becomes more pronounced with greater speed. During heavy fast braking, weight transfer takes around half of a second. After this period, all the weight shifts to the front wheel, making the rear brake largely ineffective. In the initial half second, the rear brake still plays some role, but as the braking process continues, its significance diminishes. On most bikes, when braking from speeds higher than 60 km per hour, we can practically disregard the rear brake, since the rear wheel will lift off the pavement. An exception would be for long, low bikes like cruisers and tourers, especially if they are loaded or have a passenger. In such cases, the rear brake contributes about 10% of the overall braking force. However, if you don't have an ABS and aren't completely confident in your combined braking skills, it's safer to focus your attention on the front brake. This is because the front brake provides 90% of the braking power, and the rear brake is prone to locking up under hard and fast braking, which could lead to a high side. If you do have ABS, however, use both brakes without hesitation. Even if you overbrake, the system will manage this situation. The fourth essential aspect to address regarding high-speed braking is air drag. As speed increases, air resistance becomes progressively more and more significant. This varies depending on the bike's design, of course. A streamlined sport bike will experience less drag than some Harley-Davidson, for instance. To provide some context, referencing Motorcycle Dynamics book, at 100 km per hour, wind drag contributes to about 25% of total braking force. At 200 km per hour, this figure rises to around 40%. This demonstrates that when braking from high speeds, air resistance plays a more substantial role than, for example, the rear brake. This is why during our braking exercises I emphasized the need to straighten our back and sit upright when braking. This posture shifts some weight to the rear, reducing the likelihood of a stoppie, and furthermore, it significantly increases our air drag, effectively turning our upper body into an aerodynamic brake. This not only facilitates quicker deceleration through air resistance, but also aids in removing more weight from the handlebars. This in turn enhances the predictability of our braking. To sum up, these are the primary distinctions of high-speed braking. If you have practiced braking exercises from lower speeds in a controlled environment, you should transition smoothly to braking from higher speeds. The overall process remains largely unchanged, though it's important to keep the consideration we've discussed in mind. Alright, if you have suggestions for new video topics or any questions, feel free to share them in the comment section. While I still need to create a rain-related video from the previous poll, once that's completed, I'll create a new poll with 5 topics from the comments that have received the most likes. So let's find the most popular subject. Thank you for watching, ride safely and have a wonderful day. Bye!